I wanted to just take a couple of minutes to show you a really neat feature on this Seiko King Quartz that I've just finished restoring. This is a King Quartz, Seiko King Quartz 0853-8025 from December 1976. The 08 series of movements were the first stepper motor controlled quartz watch movements that were produced by the Daini Seiko division. The other quartz movements at the time, perhaps the more established ones, having been produced by Suwa in Nagano. And this is actually a beautiful movement in terms of its engineering. It's not so beautiful to look at, but it's a sophisticated movement running at 32 kilohertz. And actually a highly jeweled movement. This is a 9-jewel movement, and leaps and bounds more sophisticated than the kind of standard disposable plastic quartz fodder that we're used to dealing with now. What you appreciate in servicing these watches is just how well engineered and how clever they are. It's easy to be dismissive of the loss of the watchmaking art during this period where the quartz movement was establishing itself as the mainstream movement fitted to most watches that were going to be sold from that point onwards. But at the time, the watchmakers, the watch companies like Seiko, they were pushing the boundaries. They were developing advanced technologies that and doing so in a really clever way. So there's an awful lot to enjoy and appreciate about the movements that were fitted to these watches. Anyway, this watch, I wanted to just talk briefly about this one because it's got this really neat little feature that I was completely ignorant of right up to the point that I'd actually finished restoring it. I'd noted some features in the layout of the movement when I was putting it back together, and indeed when I was dismantling it prior to servicing. The nature of this feature didn't make itself apparent until I'd got a working watch on my hands again. The feature in this watch that surprised me, quietly pleased me, was what happens when you rotate the crown in its at rest position. Now, there's no resistance here up to a particular point where you can feel that the crown stops turning, and similarly, if you turn it anti-clockwise, you reach the same point. If we turn it clockwise, we reach a point of resistance, and if we power through that, if we just look closely at the seconds hand, if we power through that, you click, and you may have noticed a pause in the seconds hand. So let's do that again. You see? And the purpose of that, of course, is to correct the timing of the watch. So if we rotate it anti-clockwise now, we reach the same point of resistance. And then you'll notice the second hand jumping through 2-second intervals to correct the fact that it may well have been running slow. Let's just do that again. There we go. A neat little feature.